If we can ask you all to take your seats once again, please take your seats. We all hope that you have enjoyed your dinner, and we hope you have a chance to sit down and enjoy your dessert, which is being served at this moment. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. All right, guys. It is now my honor to reintroduce you to Mark Goldsmith, a fully nourished Mark Goldsmith. Here you go, Mark.
All right. Last year, Wendy New decided we should have a Social Entrepreneur of the Year. So we're now going to name this, hey Charlie, we're going to name it the Wendy New Social Entrepreneur of the Year. How's that? Thank you, Wendy. So last year we introduced a young man to you named Rudy Valdez. And I think you were all impressed with what Rudy had to say. He also had a documentary called The Sentence. And guess what? He went to Sundance and they won the Audience Documentary Prize for an American film. So, more tradition at GOSO, passing the baton. Rather than us handing out the Wendy New Social Entrepreneurship of the Year Award, we're going to have last year's recipient, Rudy Valdez, do the honors. Rudy?
Thank you, everyone. It's going to be tough to compete with that cake. I'll be very brief. But I wanted to say, this is a very, very special room here tonight. The people in this room are unbelievable. I remember 2 years ago, they were honoring Wendy New, and I feel like she should be honored every year for many, many years to come. She is an absolute remarkable woman. And I was honored to be sitting at one of the tables way over on the side and watching her give her speech and talk about her life. And at the end of her speech, she mentioned me, and she mentioned my fight and what I was going through at the time. And I can't tell you how humbled I was by that. And it's something that stuck with me. And a few months later, she had told the story of my sister, Cindy Shank, who was given a 15-year prison sentence for a first-time nonviolent offense. And she was talking about my fight for her freedom. Last year, she gave me the award that I'm about to hand out. And I was unbelievably honored and humbled to be up here once again, and even more so to be able to come up here and have my sister be in the audience. My sister was given clemency by President Obama right before he left. That story was turned into a documentary that I made over the course of a decade that went on to win the Audience Award at Sundance this year. And thank you. And all of this is wonderful and all this is great, but I can't tell you how meaningful it is to be back here again for this third year and giving an award to somebody else. I hope that Jim, when he comes up here, Jim St. Germain, understands that getting up here is one thing, and the journey to where you are is amazing, but when you get to a place where you get to give awards back, that's where you want to be. I'm unbelievably honored that GOSO is having me here today, and I'm thrilled to be giving this award. And I have to say, I met Jim, was it about a month ago, a couple weeks ago? We sat down to lunch, and I was very excited to meet him. And this young man epitomizes why we're here tonight. You want to give people a second chance. You want to see them take that second chance and run with it, and he is running with it. He's written an amazing book that each and every one of you should pick up. It's just a testament to going through something, understanding that it isn't the end of your life, and you're going to make the best of it, and you're going to give back. When we sat down, the whole purpose of us meeting was for me to sit down and talk to him about what he's been doing and what his life has been like and what it's been like after this book, because I wanted to be able to talk to you about him tonight as I introduced him. And he didn't even let me get to that for a while. He immediately started asking me questions, asking me about my life, and I kept trying to bring the conversation back to him and say, Jim, I'd really love to hear about what you're doing. And he's like, we'll get to that. Here's the book. He actually handed me a book. He was like, there's a book. You can read about my life. But he wanted to know about my process and what I was doing and how I was giving back. And, that speaks a lot about him. Because then once I finally strong-armed him into talking about what he's been through and what he's going through, the first thing that he brought up was, I've been through this and I've gone through this. And I want other people to not have to go through this. I want other people who are going through what I've been through to have someone there. He started his own foundation, helping kids who have gone through what he's gone through. And that's what this is about. This is a very special room. And I'll say that a million times because I truly believe it is. GOSO is an unbelievable organization. If you haven't heard enough tonight to make you want to give, I don't know what else I can tell you. But these guys are doing amazing things, and you see what happens when you give somebody a second chance, the opportunities. And I'm wonderfully honored to be able to give this award to Jim St. Germain.
Can't break it. Rudy, thank you, bro. It's an honor to know you, and I look forward to returning this favor, and hopefully it will be me introducing you for your Oscars. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for using storytelling to change hearts and minds, to humanize your sister and so many sisters and brothers going through that struggle. So thank you, bro. I really appreciate you.
You see what I mean? This isn't about me. This is about you, Jim. They're honoring you. You've done amazing things. Own that. This is you, brother.
Thank you. MG, that's a rapper's name, right? Like it. Thank you so much for starting GOSO. It's an honor to be here. Thank you everyone for being in this room. I was born in Haiti, and many of you might thank you. Yes. Many of you might have heard of it by another name, but it's a very beautiful, powerful, and strong place. First Black independent nation on earth. But as a kid, growing up in Haiti, I had this vision of America. And it was pretty much from this movie Home Alone with Kevin. And I don't know if any of you in here is from a different country, but in America, we do a really great job portraying a very particular image of what America looks like. And so, as a kid, I used to argue with my siblings saying that, man, I can't wait to move to heaven on earth. I can't wait to move into that $2 million mansion and where my hardest job is going to be keeping Joe Pesci out of it. And luckily enough, 10 years forward, I landed in Brooklyn, New York, Crown Heights to be exact. And the reality which I encountered was completely different than what I saw on TV. I moved into Crown Heights. For those of you who are new to New York City, you probably know Crown Heights has a place of $7 lattes and Starbucks everywhere and kale sandwiches. But prior to that, it was a much different place. It was a very challenging place. It was a place where it was a great sense of concentrated poverty. And as Reggie talked about earlier, many of us growing up in that environment, we did what we knew. And what we saw, what was available to us was a lot of violence, a lot of drugs, a lot of broken homes, incarcerated fathers, underfunded schools. And it was pretty much a neighborhood that was financed and redlining to be that way. And so as a youngster, I was confused by that reality, so I got involved in the streets at a very young age. And so I made a lot of mistakes. And so I ended up spending 3 years in the juvenile justice system. I was very fortunate that I got in trouble with the law right before my 16th birthday. And while going through that process in the system, what saved me was people, right? I never had much. I like to tell people that I never had much in life, but I've always had people. And some of those individuals are in this room tonight, and they always hate when I do this, but I just want to thank some of them. Marty Feynman standing over there, sitting over there. Christine Bella, they were my attorneys when I was a youngster, a knucklehead going through the system. And they've been a part of my life ever since, and I became family members. And what I saw when I went to GOSO for the first time a few months ago for a book talk was exactly that. I saw young men like myself who were downtrodden and who society has written off, whom a lot of times we walk by them, we see them on the train, but being in a busy city, we just keep moving, keep pushing. And what I saw at GOSO was different. I saw families, I saw Julia, I saw Harmony, and I saw so many of the other volunteers and the staff members caring for these youngsters, giving them their all, and the kids felt like they were home. And I was supposed to be there for 45 minutes. I ended up spending about 4 hours there. And that's what GOSO is about. GOSO provide a home, care, and a platform for these young people to achieve their greatest potential. And regardless of how gifted you are, and many of you in this room I'm sure are very gifted, but I can guarantee you that you're not sitting in here enjoying your success because somehow you were more special than someone else. I think you're here because there were people who believe you had something in you, and they invested in you to nourish you. For some of us, it's our grandparents, it's our fathers, our mothers, a cousin, someone. And unfortunately, not too many of us have those vessels in our lives. And GOSO provides that for our young people. And so, if you've received your tax return, this is a great investment. You get to invest in the lives of young people. You get to save lives. And to me, I don't think there is anything more precious than that, the ability to make a difference and save a life. So thank you, God, and God bless you.